The other day, a very good friend of mine sent me these images. Now, upon having a chat with him, I found out that unfortunately his son was driving down the road, hit some black ice, and very gently rolled down the hill and pushed this geezer's window into his house. So I jumped straight in a van, got round to where the customer's house was, or who will become the customer, and had a little look, found out the story, and told him, don't worry, leave it with me, I will get a new window all sorted out for him. Now, I will say this, it is a grade 2 listed building, so unfortunately we can't just take the window out and put a new one in. We need to use as much of the original parts as we can. So we are only going to be replacing the bottom sash on there, and then we're going to be repairing the top sash, because that's the way it's got to be. I would like to just remake the whole window, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Now, I will say this, it was not my mate's son's fault at all. He's a very sensible young man. Just one of them things. Just an unfortunate accident, unfortunately. So anyway, let's stop waffling, because I've been waffling for a little while now. I am going to go over to the workshop. I've just picked up some timber. So we will get over there and we'll get making a new sash. Let's do this. Okay, so we are back in the workshop, or I should say we're in the workshop. I have taken the liberty of going through and planing up all of this wood, like off camera, if you like. I didn't think it was that interesting for you guys to see me standing there for 20 minutes, half hour or so, and just pushing a load of wood through. So you can see by the photo that I'm going to put up on the screen here, the way this sash is going to look. Obviously that is a broken sash, but so what I've got is I've got my stiles that are my two uprights. This is my top rail, which will be the middle section of that window. Obviously my bottom rail, which is a lot bigger, and then these will be my glazing bars. So one, two, and three like that. And just for good luck, I've got a spare one out, because experience tells that sometimes these sort of exploders, you're putting them through there, well, normally spindle moulder, but I don't have one of them, so it'll be a router table in here. So what I have got is a section of the sash window that blew out, so we can try and copy this pattern as well as we can. I have got a router cutter here that matches that profile pretty well. It's not bang on, but like I said, we're working with what we've got here. So I'm going to get the router table all set up, and then we can get all of these sections moulded up. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I've got my router cutter all set up in here. You can see I've done a test cut on there. Now, it should be an ovlo, but I haven't got an ovlo anywhere near that. So this little lamb's tongue, and then what I might do is run in there just to square that quirk off, or I might leave it as a lamb's tongue. I'm not too sure yet. We'll see what it looks like afterwards. So I need to run all of these sections through. Obviously these need running on both sides, these bars, to leave us that flat in the middle. You see that? Yeah, that flat in the middle. And then obviously the stiles and everything else just need one run through. So let's get on with that. So here we are, just running everything through here. Nice and simple process, really, just making sure we keep them fingers well out of the way. We've got quite a few pieces to get through here, so I just sort of put my headphones on and cracked on with this, running through. It is a loud machine to be using, so yeah, headphones were definitely used on this. Okay, so that's all my profiles done on there. You can see we've got a nice flat in the middle, and then our two profiles. I'm going to stick with the lamb's tongue because it actually looks really, really close to the sash on there anyway. So now we need to put our glass rebate in the bottom. So if I show you on here, what we have is we've got our profile on there. Then we have a 1/2 inch or a 12mm flat in there, which will become our mortise and our tenon, like you can see on there. And then this is putty in here, so we need to take that section out so we can glaze it and putty it. So we'll mark 1/2 inch down here, or I'll use my mortise chisel actually to get that distance in there, and then rebate out the rest of the section. Let's get on with that. So I did forget to mention here that we can't just go hammer and tong with this and do it all in one section. So we're going to be taking this out in about 5 bites. If we had a spindle moulder, we would definitely be able to do this in one pass. But being that we're using the router, a couple of passes just to make it light work on the machine.
Right, there we go. That is our sections all moulded up. That's obviously the glazing bars. And that's obviously our stiles, and our top and bottom rail are the same as that. So let's get on the bench, we'll get this all marked out and we can start getting this all put together.
Okay, so I've got my two stiles in the vise here, all flushed up and nice and level, just so we can mark everything out accurately. So we're going to start off by marking out for our height of our sash. So I'm going to come down 50mm, just to leave us a horn on the top that we can cut off later. Our top rail is going to be 40mm, so we'll mark that out, because that's going to be the full depth of our top rail. We will take a haunch out of that in a moment, and then our full height on my very rough drawing here is 605mm, so we'll hold on the 100mm and we'll mark out 705mm. So that's our overall height. Our bottom rail, I can't remember what size I made it now, is 101mm. Come up slightly smaller than I wanted it, to be honest, but it is what it is now. So that's our overall height of our bottom rail. We'll put a 50mm haunch in there, no, 30mm haunch should do on the bottom of that. If you don't know, for you guys, the through mortise goes right the way through, the haunch doesn't go right the way through. It just means that you've got something to wedge up to on the bottom of your sash. So we'll do a haunch on here as well. Doesn't need a massive haunch. I will add, this is going to be a fixed sash anyway, so strength isn't the priority. So we'll mortise out these sections here. We do need to put a mortise for our glazing bar in our middle, but we'll do that once we've got the sash itself dry fixed. Then we'll worry about glazing bars. So let's go over to the mortiser and we'll get these mortised out. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that I actually set the machine at the haunch depth on this side, so we'll do it all at that depth right the way through. Just means that we don't have to set the machine up multiple times, and then when we flip it over and come from the other side, we will go right the way through our workpiece, creating our tenon, our through tenon. Just makes it a lot easier with setup. There you go, our last little bit going right the way through. You can see breaking through now. Jumping straight over onto the table saw now. I've got my 6mm grooving blade in there, and that's just going to make it nice and quick to make our tenons up for this. So on the one side we flip it over. Now unfortunately our mortise is not in the middle, so we do have to do a reset on this, but it's not too difficult to do. Okay, so now we've got all of our tenons done. As you can see on the end there, I've left a little bit of snot on the end of that. What we need to do is actually fit up our sash. So we'll put that in, and you remember we've got our haunch here, so we're just going to mark out for where we need to cut our haunch, and then we can take our square, set our square down, and that will give us our haunch length, which is that there. And that's the little section we need to cut out for our haunch. So remove that, and then that's our through tenon, and then that's our haunch. So I'll do that on all four, and then I'll show you how we're going to join up these profiles. So if I was doing more than one sash here, I would actually set the bandsaw up and cut all of these on there. But being the fact that we've only got 4 joints, it's just nice and easy to do this with the handsaw. Not worth taking time to set up the machine for. Right, I'm going to apologise now about the camera angle. I'm not normally filming this way behind the bench, but we need to for this. So you can see our bottom rail goes into our stile nicely. We're nice and flush. That mortising come out really well. But obviously we've got a big gap here that we need to close up, and our profiles don't line up. So what we need to do is take that out, and we need to do a 45 back here and remove all of this waste, and we need to do a 45 here. We could do a scribe, but I'm going to do a 45 in this instance because this is inside the window, so it should be fine. So this is called a
Mitre blocks. So basically what you do is you clamp that on where you want it, and then you can run your saw down the side there, and it'll give you a nice clean cut. So let's get that going. So yeah, as I just said earlier, we're going to be going down, taking all this material out. Now, yet again, if I was doing more than one sash here, what you could use is actually use a pattern bit in a router or a copy cutter, just set off of that bottom shoulder. But being that it's one sash and I wanted to just, you know, use some hand skills, we just did it with the hammer and chisel, and the results come out exactly the same as long as you take your time and really concentrate on where you're what material you're removing there. Now you will see that I actually cut my haunch depths to the wrong height there. I'm a bit out of practice with this. And there we have it. Once we get a clamp on that, that'll pull up nice and tight. Right, I'm going to do the rest of these, and then I will jump back in with you guys and show you. I also need to cut this spare bit of tenon off here that we don't need because I made these well too long. But I'll get this all jointed up, dry, and then we'll turn our attention to doing some bars. Okay, so there's our sash all dry, fixed together. There's no glue on this at the moment. Now we need to do is get these glazing bars. I need one through the middle and then 3 upright in here. I am going to stop filming at this point because it is 4:30 and I want to get this sash together tonight so I can get the glass ordered, because I'm on a little bit of a tight deadline on this, being what the problem is. So I'm going to stop filming, but basically it's much the same as what I've done. Mortised in there, scribe, blah blah blah. You get the hint. It's the same thing but with the bars. So I'll check back with you guys probably in the morning and show you where I'm at. Okay, so I jumped ahead a little bit last night, and I actually got this sash all glued up. Like, I do apologise, but like I said, I am on a little bit of a time crunch on this one, being the nature of, obviously this isn't a tradition, like, you know, a normal customer that's approached me. It's a repair job that needs doing. So yeah, like I said, I got it all fixed together, glued up last night. This morning I've been down to the glass shop and I've got myself some bits of glass, 230 by 180 millimeters for those of you that are interested, and we're just puttying the glass in now. I'm really happy with how all the joints have come out on this window. It's looking really nice actually. I'll put up a little cutaway now so you can see that, and I'm going to bring you guys in closer and just show you a little bit of how to putty. Like nowadays I wouldn't normally bother puttying in a pane of glass. I would just cut a beading on the inside and do like a fake putty line, if you like, on the outside, similar to how I did my front door. But because this is grade 2 listed, it's got to go back how the original was. So yeah, we're having to putty in. Not my favourite job in the world to do. Haven't done it in years, to be honest. So yeah, and we're trying to give it a wonky look, trying to make it look like the original. So we're not trying to get ultra clean lines, but you know, obviously don't want it to look like a mess, but we also don't want it to look like a brand new window. We want it to match in. So let me bring you in closer and I can show you this. Now, it has been a while since I've used a bit of putty, as I stated earlier, but just make sure that you push that putty in nice and tight, and then using a nice wide chisel, take it out and remove the rest. Now, we don't want to be doing this on a 45 degree. What you want to do is actually match up to the rebate that you've got on the inside there. So I've only got a 7mm deep rebate here, copying what we've got in. So I couldn't tell you what the angle was, but we are copying that angle and just taking that out. So nice and easy. It helps to really warm this putty up in your hands beforehand, so you sort of like make a sausage out of it in between your hands. It's the best way to explain it, really. Make yourself up a sausage, and the good beauty with this putty is that you can tool it multiple times. If you're not happy with the finish, you can just go over it again or add more if you need to, but really happy with the results after I'd practiced a few times. Right, I know this middle little bit of this video has been a bit disjointed, and I am terribly sorry about that. It's just trying to juggle getting these jobs out and videos all out at the same time. I'm rushed off my feet, let's put it that way. So anyway,
We are on our way to the customer's house. I'm pretty much there now, to be honest with you, and we are going to get this window installed. So it's coming out really well. The only problem I have got is obviously because it's linseed based putty that's gone onto the window, I can't paint the outside until it's dried, and with the weather we got at the minute, it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game, unfortunately, but we'll get it all fitted because they need a window at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. They desperately need a window, so we will get the window fitted. I can decorate the inside, that's not a problem, and I'll have to just go back in a week or so, touch wood, once that putty's dried, and then we'll get that all painted and filled in. So anyway, I won't muck about too much with driving shots and all that. It's not worth it. Like I said, I'm nearly there. I will see you there.
Okay, so let's get this temporary piece of ply out. Now I did put this bit of ply on when I came to measure up originally, just to make sure that there weren't no drafts coming through. It is a cold time of year at the moment, so it was pretty drafty. But yeah, cutting out the glazing bars. We don't want to start smashing this out with a hammer because we need to protect as much of that frame as we possibly can. So yeah, taking it out one glazing bar at a time here and just gently removing bits and pieces. There you go, top sash is out, and now we can actually turn our attention to getting this glazing out. So we've got 2 bits of glass we need to repair on here, so it's a case of smashing out the old putty delicately because we don't want to break any more glass. I did buy myself 1 extra bit of glass, but the worst thing we want to do is create more work for ourselves. So it's exactly the same process as what we did on the bottom sash back in the workshop, just a little bit harder because the putty is cold out here. So the putty definitely benefits from being warmer, I'll put it that way. But yeah, got them 2 bits reglazed nice and easily. Just trying to neaten it all up and make it look good there, and then we can get the sash in. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a completely fixed window, so I'm putting some decorator's caulk in there to act as a sealant. We don't want to go using silicone or anything like that because you can't paint it, so pinning it in just to hold it in place, and then we'll actually get some screws and fixings in there. Now it might sound quite weird that we're fixing this in, but that's what the customer wanted. He said we never open that window anyway, so it will be better to have it fixed shut. So now we can get the new replacement bottom sash in, so scribing it in, cutting it to the right size, and the bottom and the top sash are actually rebaited together. So we're creating that little rebate now. We could have set up the router and all that, but I had the track sort out, so it was just much easier just to rip that and then clean it all up with a chisel. Does exactly the same job. So nice tight fit on that. You can see I am using a block of wood and the hammer there just to tap that into place. Yet again, we want to be gentle with this just to make sure that we don't break anything. But there we go. Now we just got to get a bit of decoration on there, but I can't do that today unfortunately because the putty is not dry.
Well, there we have it, people. That is another job done. Now, I'm really happy with the way that one come out. It was really nice to actually just make a sash window. It's something I haven't done in absolutely years. So, yeah, really nice to flex them joinery muscles as it was. Customers over the moon. I tried to get as many pictures as I could for you guys. And given the circumstances, I'm really happy that the customers over the moon, being as wasn't something that he actually wanted done in the first place, you know, purely by accident. Like I said at the beginning of the video, was not my mate's son's fault at all, bless him. He's really shaken up, first car and all that, but you know, he's you've got to make these mistakes to find out how these things work, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Massive shout out to my members. They're the people you can see across the bottom of the screen now. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this stuff. We've got exciting videos coming out in troves at the moment, so plenty to be seen, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.